Wow. So I hope you enjoyed your walking meditation. And I'd like to know get a couple of feedback about that. Does anybody have anything you want to share about it? Did it work? Did it not work? How was your experience before I put you guys into breakout rooms?
I could share one thing.
Sure.
I really appreciated what you said about the feet being the furthest thing away from the head. And something about that just resonated for me, and it brought me deeper into it because my restlessness is accentuated with the walking meditation.
Ah.
So I appreciated that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. And it's okay to be restless. Guess what? It doesn't last. Everything is changing, shifting, moving. And so the only time that restlessness becomes an issue and a problem and a burden on us is two times: when we are absolutely not aware of it and it's running us, running our life, and when we are aware but we hate it, we don't like it, we don't want it. Those two times issues come out of it. Otherwise, it's an energy that is high energy with both in the head and in the body, and or either one, right? And so when we become aware of it, it's not peaceful. Obviously, we don't like not peaceful. Sometimes we like to be, hyper. I've had clients who say, "Oh my God, I'm taking medication." If they have bipolar or something, they hate that they are now, kind of like in the neutral zone. They don't like it. They want to be high energy. They like that, right? So it depends on our perspective or how we use these energies, knowing that they are emotions are energies in motion. They move, they pass. And so how do we work with them is to bring your attention, which we'll talk more about this attention thing after the break, but bringing your attention to some place that's neutral, solid. Your feet touching the ground is a very solid place, and everything then from there supposedly goes through the ground into the earth. Even if you're on a top floor or something, it's still connected to the earth. Good. Well, I'm glad you shared that. Thank you. Anybody else? Any questions about walking meditation, or if it doesn't work, or, I'm experienced, so I could always offer something that might be helpful. Okay. All right. So, okay. I had a feeling, Vanessa, you wanted to say something. No? Yes. Just want to make
I knew I had this class today. I was planning on it this morning, and then I forgot. And I happened to send something on my phone to one of my friends, and I saw the email to remind me. And so I got on late, and I didn't do the walking meditation. I'll have to do some makeup walking medication later.
Yes, right. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. All right. Well, just making it here, it's amazing. Yeah. Look, I had fever last night, all night, like, I don't know, 100 and something. All night I had aching in my body. I woke up really in a totally foggy place. It was not good. And so I've been working on it all day. And my mom brought some soup, and she says, I said, yeah, I have this class. She says, don't say anything. Don't. You don't have to tell them, just do it, the old school, right? So it's really helpful for us to be authentic, to say, look, I get sick. I can have fever. And I thought about it. I don't want to not, postpone this class. No, this is going to be I'm going on a retreat next week. No, 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 we're going to do this. Right. And that gave me extra energy, like a mental motivation. And so similarly, when you forget, you miss, you're not the only one. It's shared humanity. We all experience these things where we miss our appointment and then we are like, oh my God, how did this happen? How could it happen? Right. Yeah. And so we learn to be kind about it, to be present with it and say, I am responsible. Like last week I said, I am responsible. I do want to do life right. And this doesn't have my missing something is not an indication of me not caring or me not intending, right? So good. Well, I'm glad you're here. So let's go ahead and put you guys into breakout rooms, 12 minutes, 3 people per per room. And so discuss about last week, we talked about how to build this relationship with yourself, this kind relationship where you are able to transform negative self views and self judgments and all that. And the way to do it was to really practice sort of having conversations with yourself about, I am here, I got you, I love you. And I remember I asked if anybody had an issue with it. And of course, it's not normal. Nobody teaches us to talk to ourselves like that, or to talk to ourselves. Talking to yourself is considered in some circles like being mad, right? Like you're not, you're kind of cuckoo or something. But this is purposeful. This is strategic. This is to rewire, to strengthen connections of self-love and self-understanding and self sort of protectiveness, self not, being conscious about yourself, being there for yourself. And I remember we had a conversation with one of you who said, I have an issue with saying I love you to myself. And so it's not about the saying of it, it's about the actions of it, right? So you do a lot of things that in action are actually, if you look at it and you consider it as self-love, you'll see, oh, in action, I do get up and have my breakfast. I do take myself into the shower. I do take myself to the park. I do, right, go buy myself some nice things, or I do come to classes like this. These are love in action, right? Love is not just the emotion or feeling we have, that if I don't have the feeling for myself, then it doesn't count. No, actually, love is an active word, very active word. So I'd like for you guys to sort of explore that within your breakout room and see how have you been showing love to yourself in action, through action. And it's okay to name small little petty things that you may not even think about. Oh, I put on my shoes, well, the right way, or I had some sand in my shoe when I was hiking and I stopped and took it out. Really, that does as love in action. Okay. All right, so let's do that. Serena, would you put them into the breakout rooms? And then so about 12 minutes. Kind of put some words, phrases. What are some self-love that you have done, you consider, you recognize? And also if one person from each room can give a report of what did you talk about, what did you hear? What are some actions, loving actions you guys have done? Make nourishing food, positive self-talk, yoga, yeah. Clean, stay off something. Let's see. Off the phone, yeah. Cleaning, yeah. Walked every day, went to the gym earlier today in order to stop spiraling about something. Very good. Remember, I love you. Yes, yes, yes. Massage, which usually falls to the bottom of the self-care, affirmations, walking every day, giving myself permission to be human and experience the range of emotions, exercise. Very good. Anything else that you want to share? Just either unmute yourself or raise a hand. Going for walks, spending time with loved ones, eating vegetables, listening to music. Yeah, see? Yeah, very good. So what did you find about this exercise or this practice you guys did? How was it? Yes, Kathy, go ahead.
The main thing I noticed, I went last partially because I felt like I wouldn't have much or anything. And I felt like I made an extra effort to say more positive things to myself or to catch myself with negative, but I didn't think I was necessarily doing anything. But the longer I kept talking, the more I thought of things. So
Yes.
that was nice to be aware of that.
Yeah, yeah. See, really, this is it's very both cathartic when we share our thoughts, and secondly, you hear things that you weren't thinking about before. Brings it to the forefront of your awareness. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Yeah. So, whereas before you may not think of these things as self-love, you may think of them as I have to do them, they're good for me. If I don't do them, I'm not gonna, some other way of looking at it. But, and then people say self-care, self-care and self-love are slightly different. So the things you wrote, everybody wrote, is kind of like self-care, but also like cleaning would not be considered so much as self-care or self-love. But I want you to understand something about love. Love is so misunderstood and misused. And so if you love, let's say, somebody, I mean, I've had even therapy students who would say, oh my God, I love my husband. He's so attentive, so caring, so he can listen so well, and he takes care of everything, and this and that and the other. And I'm listening and I'm thinking, okay, is that love? Or is that really at the bottom of it is a sense of gratitude for the other person? Right? You heard that this person does all these good stuff for me. So not to mistake a sense of gratitude for the sense of love. Because love is an emotion and an action towards the person we attach our love to. So if I love that person, I would be the one listening carefully. I would be the one looking to see what do they want, what is their need, what makes them happy, what makes them sad or upset, or so I can do what I can do to make their life happy, easier, better, right? And so when we think of love in the other way, that the person is so good, oh my God, they're so smart, they're so wise, they're so, giving, they're so generous, they're so kind. When we think of them in that way, associate our love to that, if they can show up like that, for some reason they're human, they can't show up like that consistently, that one day they're just not going to be able to do that, then it impacts like, oh my God, I don't love them, I can't love them, I hate them, they're not like I can't, you know, it just does something to the concept of I love them, right? So similarly with ourselves, if attach the idea of love to ourselves when we are together, when we are focused, when we are showing up, you know, perfectly, when we are energized, when we are, you know, all these things, right? We love ourselves. And then when we don't, we just lose, you know, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe we start criticizing, we start blaming, we start shaming. So we have to kind of put things where they are. When you have all these good qualities showing up, that would be a sense of sort of appreciation and gratitude for showing up like this. And when it's not happening, then another appropriate heart quality is compassion. Compassion to show up and be okay with, have a warm understanding of it's okay that I just forgot about the class. I don't know what happened. It was totally on my mind and I just knew it. Even 15 minutes ago, I intended to attend and somehow it dropped off, right? So you show up with compassion, with this warm, and so at the heart of all of these, so let's say generosity is a heart quality, gratitude is a heart quality, joy for the joy of another is a heart quality. If I don't know if all of you have heard of such a, you know, quality. Compassion is a heart quality, right? At the center of all of them is this goodwill, is this loving kindness practice. At the center of all of them is goodwill, no matter what. It's not a conditional goodwill. It doesn't depend on circumstances or deserving or not deserving. This heart of loving kindness shows up and is moved. So when somebody is doing some good things for you, heart of loving kindness is moved to show gratitude, to show appreciation, to show acknowledgement, right? To want to reciprocate. When you are faced with somebody needing something, for example, the heart of generosity, loving kindness is moved to become generous, to give time, give resources, give, right, attention, right? So at the core of the and then when there is pain and suffering for yourself or somebody else, the heart of loving kindness is moved to relieve the pain and suffering, right? And when there is somebody else has something good going for them, something amazing going for them, and the heart of goodwill for all, for yourself and all, is moved to feel joyful for them. It's joy for joy of another. It's called sympathetic joy, appreciative joy. It's one of the high level heart qualities, right? And so you can use all of these heart qualities, which we will talk more in other courses that come, but I think is appropriate here, to sort of experience a range of emotions that are useful, that are effective, that are appropriate, right? So when there's criticism coming and disappointment and all kinds of other failure or feelings come, you have access to the heart to show up and show up appropriately, right? So at the heart of this, when you practice goodwill, unconditional goodwill, has nothing to do with deserving or not. You practice that for yourself and others, then there is a big reservoir of it, unlimited reservoir of it for you to draw on in different circumstances. And it's important to put things where they belong, right? Put things where they belong. Love itself for oneself and for others includes all of these: generosity, right? Compassion, includes joy, includes gratitude, includes peacefulness, equanimity. Okay. So for some of you, these things are just repetition. You've heard them, you know them. Some of you may be new. It's okay. Just let them sit in your heart. Let them sit in your mind. Always, I have this training model that has 5 stages. The stage number 1 is giving knowledge. Knowledge of something that is a worthy knowledge. Is not a gossip, is not the assumption, is not the maybe, an interpretation, a perception of something. No, it's an actually worthy knowledge to look at. Like, look, loving kindness, goodwill for all is a very beneficial thing. And you look, so number 2, stage number 2 is to bring it into your own awareness. When you get this knowledge, authenticate it. Is it accurate? Can I relate to it? Does it make sense to me? Can I check it out? You check it out, you authenticate it, right? So when I say love is not just an emotion, it's also action, but also it's not gratitude, is right, is having goodwill and towards the object of your love, yourself or the other person. You check it out in stage 2. You authenticate. Let me see, what does that mean? Don't let it be in an abstract world, in a world of concept and theory. Bring it in and look at it, right? And then number 3 is to develop, stage number 3 is develop skills around this knowledge, around this. So loving kindness, is the heart, is the core of all these other movements of the heart. Let me see, let's say if I don't have goodwill, can I have compassion? Maybe I can. Let me check it out, And if no, it's not. So, okay, I have to develop goodwill for myself. Always, always, always including yourself. You cannot be outside of the circle. It doesn't, it does not work. It is inappropriate, right? It doesn't work. You cannot be outside of the loving kindness circle. You must have so much of it that for yourself that it just overflows, So you develop that. It's not automatic. Look, I'm writing a blog. I don't know if you guys are subscribed to me or not. I write these things so I'm basically saying I wish I was, or we could be as, the title, I haven't figured it out. It's kind of like, if I were as smart as a cockroach, how amazing would that be? Right? Why? Because a cockroach is perfectly programmed, or all the other ones, right? All the other than human, they're perfectly programmed to do what they do. The ecosystem is perfect with them. But we humans, we mess up. We have to learn. We have to be programmed. And our programming is faulty. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. It's just a mess. Right? So these things are for you to sort of reprogram your brain and your mind into more effective way of living, which I really call it like being more highly intelligent in life. This is life intelligence, right? Okay. Is that helpful? I see a lot of nodding, okay, and a heart going there. Okay. So, any trouble have you? This is our last session. Before I give you the last piece of the lecture, I want to see if there's any question about this self-compassion thing or judgmental. Because look, not having quite fully trained the ADHD brain that you have, you're going to stumble onto forgetting and being procrastinating and being unorganized and having clutter and all these things. I want you to have a good foundation for self-compassion. Self-compassion does not mean, oh, I'll just be soft on myself and do whatever and not be responsible. It means that when I do mess up, that I can be there for myself. Because look, who can be there for yourself? Who can you rely on being there? The best of the person in the world, they may not be there. So you need to develop the best friend, the BFF for life within you, right? So if anything comes to your mind, this is a good time to ask before we go on a break. Yes, go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting because sometimes if I'm in like a strong inner critic kind of storm, like a lot of times I'll be aware of it and then I'm like, oh, I should practice loving kindness or something. But I feel like a lot of times the inner critic undercuts like honestly one of the thoughts sometimes is like, oh, like I'm a loser because I have to like compassion is for losers.
Yeah.
Like so I almost feel bad about having to be compassionate towards
Yes.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? It's like I'm a loser. On top of that, I have to be soft to myself. Oh my God, what a double loser.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see people nodding, right? It's really not you're not the only one experiencing that. It's about, having the false notion that these strategies actually work. Self-criticism, we do it because we hope that it could finally get some sense into us to stop doing whatever we're doing or not doing whatever we're supposed to do. But it doesn't work, does it? Hasn't worked so far. And when you are actually showing compassion to yourself, it is such an incredibly generous thing to do. It is not what everybody can do. It's a really high level intelligent thing to do. It really is, I tell you, because look, once you develop self-compassion like that, you become fierce. That self-compassion says, no, I will not, overlook this or overlook that. I will not cause myself to be embarrassed, for example. In that way, because you don't want the pain of being embarrassed, right? And your attention, your sort of, it's not like you are irresponsible, but now you become interested. Now you have an extra motivation. Now it's a challenge. If you remember, the ADHD brain moves and becomes motivated and engaged and focused and filled with, attentiveness in one of four, or there's a fifth way too. One is if the brain's self-interest, and it's not a preference, it's just like the interest, right? Two is if it's challenging or competitive, it creates competition. Three, if it's urgent, last minute, oh, you're on it. Oh my goodness, you're on it, right? And four, if it's novel or creative. Now, some of us could be more, leaning towards the creativity. Some of us are more competitive. Some of us are more acting the, last minute urgencies, but we all have those. The fifth one is, not everybody has it, is that you want to prove somebody right or prove them wrong, right? So when you are actually, you improve self-compassion, it strengthens your interest. It becomes a connection to that self-interest. becomes a connection to the challenge, becomes a connection to the creativity. It supports all of those, right? It supports you doing things in a novel way because you don't want to, from your own self, to be disappointed by yourself because it's painful. Now, it also does require for us to feel the pain of it, feel the pain of criticism. You know, in a kind of like the one inside you who's experiencing this being criticized, and it's so painful, your heart, your stomach, your gut, you know, your mind, everything is like in pain. And there is this other entity who's watching, this mindful, kind entity who's watching and says, no, no, sweetheart. No, I don't want you to. You know, no, I don't. No, this pain is not okay. You know? And so it actually is a courageous, heroic thing to do. It's not soft at all. It makes you fierce. You know, and if anybody else is going to, like, I had a situation this past week, I won't give you exactly the, you know, the exact situation, but there was a person who very creatively, very subtly, very started manipulating something to put a responsibility on me that I hadn't signed up for. And it was very creative on their part. It was hard to catch it. And all of a sudden, no, I said, no, I'm so sorry. No, no, I'm very kind. I'm very giving. I'm very generous and compassionate to the maximum possible, but not when I don't sign up for it. Where does it come from? From compassion to myself. I'm not a doormat. No, I'm not going to just people please. One of the other thing about when we talked about the self, what was it, the rejection sensitivity dysphoria? One of the things that one of the ways we show up is to please others. Say yes to them, you know, not want to stand up for ourselves, not want to, you know, even lie, little lies here and there, and, you know, always take care of them. So it's like walking on eggshells, right? But having this high level of self-compassion, no, I will not walk on eggshells. I will not please somebody just because I don't want them to criticize me. In my mind, they may not even be criticizing, right? But in our mind, we think they are. So it's extremely beneficial. It's not a soft thing. It's not a loser thing. No, you become fierce. Okay, sweetheart. Good job. All right, Eric, you're welcome.
Hey, smooth. Currently, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
From what I'm hearing from everything you're saying, and just from my own experience, is that there's kind of, I don't know if you want to call it the bottom line, is that we experience these symptoms, and that rather than calling them a problem or disorder or judging ourselves, which a lot of like our families have done because of whatever shortcomings, that to move in a different direction rather than to these are just symptoms that we have, and they can be even gifts, and to learn how to manage those symptoms rather than trying to fix or cure or get rid of them. Because if we approach it in that aspect, that creates a lot of suffering. That's what I.
Perfect. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I have always started the course by saying these are not even symptoms. These are not even disorders. These are characteristics of our brain type, nervous system. This is a very unique nervous system that has extremely actually powerful capabilities, but because it doesn't behave exactly neurotypical and the linear thinking model do, then it bumps against, oh, this is wrong. Oh, this is not right. Oh, this is, because we're comparing or they're comparing and always constantly criticizing, right? And so when you actually get to know these characteristics instead of even symptoms, right? You manage them, you utilize them effectively, strategically. Oh, I know that I show up when it's urgent. I know. I've seen it 1,000 times, 100,000 million times. I now know that when it's last minute, I do show up. I have the energy, the brilliance, the content, the everything that I need becomes available to me in my brain, right? So what I do is I rely on it instead of judging myself. Oh, I should have, I should have, like all these other people. I don't know who these other people are. I don't know who these people are who just send me all the, Hallmark cards when it's Christmas time. I wish I could do it. I don't know why I don't do it. I love to do it. I wish I could send them a, thank you card and acknowledge, but once in a blue moon I do. But if I want to compare myself, with that capability or mindset or that preference that they have or the choice they make, then I have failed. But if I see that, look, my brain doesn't work like that, and I can actually be okay with it, and find how does it work and utilize exactly how it works, and not try to work it with somebody else's brain or somebody else's way that they do it. Perfect. Yes, you said it very well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Laura. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really a nice way to frame everything. And the thing that popped up for me kind of on the front end of this discussion was how I noticed myself struggling with this line between, some kind of embedded procrastination that's happening and then the self-compassion. And I find myself in this conversation with myself saying, just, self-love, trying to be loving and gentle. And then I'm like, am I enabling
Yes.
this
Yeah.
tendency? And so there's like this fine line where I'm like, okay, I feel crazy now.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. That's a great point. So you have to, when you bring the self-love and say, it's okay, Laura, it's okay. Let's figure out a way to do it. So you add another segment to it. So I'm procrastinating on this thing. We had a whole like a thing last semester, and again next semester I will do this too, about procrastination. One tip I'll give you is, please make a list of things that you have procrastinated on. Make a list and evaluate. Okay, do I really want to do? Is it really important to do number one? Do I really want to? Is it important? If it's not, cross it off. So you could unclutter your mind about these 10 projects, 20 projects that you have left on, cross it off, right? So for example, if I show you on the wall here, I have all these flip charts, big flip charts. I was preparing a video for a TEDx application that I sent out. It's on my YouTube too. So I have all these notes and all these notes to figure out my lines that I'm going to say, right? Now they're on the wall and I'm thinking, oh my God, they have amazing information on them. I can't get rid of them. Maybe I'll need them. And then it dawns on me, no, Manijeh, your brain is brilliant. It comes up, it proliferates ideas and new ways of saying things. You don't need to keep all this stuff, right? So that's one of the things about procrastination. Do I keep this for another project? No, you know you don't go back and look at them. You know that you have all these incredible ideas that come. They are generated. So this is the self-confidence that comes from being aware, paying attention, seeing the consistency of how you show up. Consistency. Now, this is my process. It doesn't mean that your process is, the same way, right? So make a list of things that you have that's on your, in the garage, in the office, in the kitchen, in the backyard, in your, business, in the marketing that you're doing. And I don't know, in all these different, do I want to do this still? Is it necessary? If the answer is no, cross it off. If the answer is no, put all the, the artwork that you started. You started this painting, you started this project, you started something, and everything is laid out in the garage or laid out in your room or in the backyard. I don't know, right? And you haven't done it. Ask yourself, am I in that place right now? Do I want to continue doing this? If the answer is yes, then perhaps a new interest will be generated. Yes, I do want to do this actually, right? And no, it sounded really amazing, but I don't know why it sounded amazing. I'm not there now. Put them away. Get them off your back. Does that make sense? So compassion, it's okay, manager. I love you. It's fine. It's okay. You didn't do it. Let me see. Okay, this thing I'm procrastinating on is the taxes. I got to do it. So you know what? Maybe just because I don't want to feel that shame and that nagging mind, compassion says, I don't want to hit the nagging mind. I didn't do it. Okay, so when is the last minute? I know I'll show up the last minute. When is the last minute? I don't know. Let's say October 15. That's when I that's my last minute for taxes. October 15. Okay, what if I start doing it in August? That would be amazing, I tell myself. And then I put it in my calendar in August 11, for example. And then I know I have 2 months. Okay, August 11, I begin to whatever should do the process. And then I have so much time, right? And I know that the final touch on these taxes will come on October 5th, I'm calling my accountant, can we make an appointment? So you begin to see how does your brain work and accommodate it instead of being a hindrance to it. Does that make sense? Instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, I could never get my life right and I could never do it. Oh God, I'm burdened. Oh. No, you just see how you work and you accommodate the way you work.
I love that.
It works. Look, I'm very happy with myself and my life and what I do. I have ADD to the maximum, but no more because my brain has now been rewired. Now it's a much more. It's a trait. It's a new trait for me now. And the falling into the autopilot is so much less. I'm not on autopilot anymore, and you can be too. Okay, good. So let's go on a shorter break. Is that okay? So that we can do, because we want to close the session too. And my time is 6:46. Let's come back at 6:50. Oh, that's 4 minutes only, huh? 55. Okay. 55 after the hour. I'll see you soon. So we're gradually coming back. Okay, so I want to give you a formula so that you can you can utilize, and I'll send you this in a PDF format. I'll have Serena put it on Teachable. So basically, I want you to know to work on three things: attention, intention, and action. Okay, and when you talk about, let's say, procrastination or jumping from one thing to another, starting new projects you're not going to finish, stuff like that, that can be actually remedied by what I'm calling action, actions that are deliberately done, that we actually tend to and take responsibility for. And what it needs is attention and intention. Okay, so every action begins with a thought, right, or a feeling, and then this thought or a feeling causes you to move, to be, to make a choice and to do this, do something, do. And this movement we've talked about is a lot of times just by stimuli catching your attention, right? So we talked about this a lot, that you intend to go do the dishes, for example, and then you have another idea. You go to the garage and you start doing something there, and you go to start, watering the plants, and then and the dishes are not done yet, right? So being moved by a stimuli or a thought into an action, and so it's not really deliberate. It's just you moving, you being moved, your body is moved to do these things. Even if it's like, oh, you have a feeling and you think about somebody said something, this is what they meant, and you feel something about it, and you're moved to respond through the feeling you felt. And it may not be, if the feeling wasn't there, let's say the next day you think about it and it's like, did I should I? I don't know why I said, right? So just being moved without even not being deliberate. So, but then every deliberate action begins with paying attention to what's going on and having an intention for it. What is your intention, right? And so there is Amishi Jha is a neuroscientist who came up with the idea that there are three components to attention. Thinking about first, understanding what is involved in attention so you can develop it, so you can work with it. Number one is directing. It's kind of like flashlights. It's like you pointing your attention onto something that you want to, put your attention on. So you put your attention on, oh, it's quarter to 4:30 or 5:30. It's almost close to going to class, so I'm going to gear myself to go to class, for example. You direct your attention in that math. And then the second in the part of attention is to be aware of what is entering your mind, how does it feel, being aware of it. So that it's almost like being mindful of it, right? Knowing how you feel and what's coming into your attention. And then the third part, very important part, is to manage it, right? Be able to this thing that you are paying attention to. What do I do about it? Make choices, make decisions about it, right? And so I'm going to just go to how do we cultivate, how do we develop these three attentions. Directing the flashlight, right? Moving your attention from one topic to another topic or object. So right now, let's just do that right now. Right now, as you're looking at the screen, I want you to turn your head to something other than the screen and kind of bring your awareness, use your eyesight to look at something else. Look at something else. And as you're looking at this something else, notice, are you really looking at that? or are you also thinking about something else? What percentage of your attention is with this thing? I want you to really get into, look at the details of this thing you're looking at. It's like focusing your attention. Like I'm looking at the lamp right now, and I could see details of it, how the curve of the handle is. So I want you to look at the details of whatever you're looking at. And if your mind is wandering off to something, come back to that. Come back to this thing you're looking at the details of it. And if you run out of details, conjure up interest. Why is this item here? Why did you get it? What is it doing for you? How is it serving you? What's the purpose of it? Conjure up interest in it. This is for your brain type. Interest makes it actually, brings more attentiveness to your deliberateness, right? Practicing to bring interest into something you're not paying attention. Something is laying around, doing nothing. You really want to take care of it, but you don't really care about it. How do you conjure up care? You become interested. Why is this here? Why did I get it? Okay. So then the second part is knowing what's coming into your mind, being aware of the feeling, even with the object you're looking at, being aware of what is showing up. Are you neutral about it? Do you really care about it? Does it conjure up any feeling or not? Do you have other stuff going on in your head? Just being aware of what is going on in your mind, right? That's the second part. Just notice, is your attention divided? Is fully there or not? It's not about fixing it or making it right and perfect, but it's about be aware of what is going on, what is happening right now in your mind. When you feel neutral about something, you notice it and call it out. Oh, I don't really have any interest right now in this thing. It's useful to know that. And then what is your attention really engaged in? What is it you want to do? You feel restless, you feel like moved to do something, but you're not really doing it. You're doing this other thing, even though you feel restless about this other thing. This is a natural, this is an experience, right? Without judging it, you become aware of all these good things. And the feeling tone is a very, very useful thing to develop. To be able to see, is my feeling tone right now neutral? Is it pleasant or unpleasant? This really resolves a lot of stories that you may feel shame or blame or just sadness or joy or anger. Okay, drop all the labels and just give them 3 categories: pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. That is an incredible mindfulness practice to do. Does that make sense? If you see things as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, they're no longer personal. They no longer have so much hold on you, okay? And the last one is the overseeing, is the managing your attention. How do you cultivate that? So you decide to engage in something or not. Is this important in this moment? So if something is in the back of your mind, like, oh, I haven't done that, I haven't done that, I haven't done that. Okay, decide. Am I going to do that this moment? No. If I'm not going to do that this moment, leave it alone. You don't have to keep thinking about it. And the idea out of sight, out of mind is a strategy that doesn't actually work. We have a lot of stuff around, clutter around, whatever. Like I'm keeping all these notes still. They've been here 3 days now. They're very important. They're so amazing. It's like, I don't want to give them up. If I put them away, I'll never look at them. But then I ask myself, are you looking at them right now? Are you utilizing them now in this moment? No, I'm not. Okay, then put them away. Give them up. Don't worry. You'll come up with. And if you didn't, you can go back to find them. So deciding what to do is the oversight in the attention. Generating interest in the topic so that you can stay with it, like I said in the above, right? And check with your intention. What is your intention? Is your choice fulfilling a higher intention? The choice you're making right now, for me to do this thing or not do this thing, is this fulfilling an intention, a higher level intention, which I will talk about next? Okay, so I want to stop right now for a moment and see if you guys have any question before I continue to intention. Any questions, anybody? Are you with me? Are you bored? Are you falling asleep? What's happening? Stand up if you're falling asleep. Take deep breaths. Okay. If not, we will continue. Is that helpful to kind of tease it out? What is attention? How do we? Because look, sometimes you're good at one part of the attention and not good at the other parts. So you could actually evaluate, oh yeah, I'm actually good at directing my attention, but I'm not good at making decisions, right? I kind of, just, I don't know, maybe yes, no, I get stuck in doubt, maybe, right? So we can work with that. Okay, the other aspect of, all right. So the next one is deliberate action. In deliberate action is intention. So intention is either you have a purpose, a goal, or a higher level intention. I'm talking about higher level intention because it really can inform everything you do. It can inform, it can really help you. Because intention is, the root of everything you do. Sometimes it's not conscious to us that we are intending something. Sometimes it is conscious, right? Acting disconnected from the intention is when we are not conscious about the intention. Like, sometimes you've heard yourself or others say, I really didn't mean this. I really didn't mean to do that. I really didn't mean for this to happen. It's really unconscious. If you were connected to the bottom line intention, you would have seen that you would have not done it, or somebody else. And it's okay. It's not conscious. Okay. And then acting with awareness and intention is the conscious level of this. All right. So the awareness and intending to do things, that's what you want to cultivate. A deliberate action is very much empowered when you do it with awareness and intention, right? So that's what you want to cultivate. It helps you to see the results. Oh, this is what I intended to do. I was very aware of what I was intending. These are the results of it. Am I happy with it? Or should I modify? What do I modify? I could modify intention and I could modify the choice I made, right? And really, to modify the results, it's very much because intention is a powerful sort of foundational thing. You cleanse the intention, modify it. So now there are 3 components to wise intention. Wise intention is a Buddhist teaching, and it's very helpful, really, because I've used it a lot for myself, and it's like one of my superpowers, really, that I just constantly check in with this wise intention. What does wise mean? Wise means being effective, being harmonious, and having the good of all who was involved in mind. Good for all who are involved, including yourself. Never, ever exclude yourself. It cannot be good for somebody else and not for you. It is not good for somebody else if it's not good for you, and vice versa. Okay, so that's wise. So number one component is goodwill. I talked a lot about that. Goodwill for yourself and all. It is not conditional. It's just pure goodwill, no matter the circumstance. Goodwill is, if the person who is so ignorant, so destructive, so just, oh my God, so bad person, look, goodwill for them is like, what if they could actually be peaceful and happy? What if they could actually be healthy in mind and body? Would they do these things? Chances are they wouldn't. So it's not a conditional, they deserve it, they don't deserve it. And another thing, when we wish harm to another, when we wish hate and bad will for another, we're harming ourselves. It's not goodwill for ourselves, because you feel it, you experience it. That's number two. Non-harming is the intention, is the really wise intention. So because when you have these sort of values, that everything you think about, everything you do goes through these values, your behavior, your choices become extremely high level, very intelligent, very, very, wise, and they have better outcomes. Which the third component is generosity. Really, generosity is to let go. Let go of your opinions, let go of things, material things, let go of your aversion to stuff, you're clinging to stuff, generosity. Letting go. So these three aspects, when you need them, you use them. You have self-criticism, you let it go. This opinion that I have right now is harming me. It's not goodwill, right? This is a very high level intention, right? Or this the general judgment I have about somebody else, that I'm thinking of them this way and that way. I can't let it go because it's harming me. It's harming them, our relationship, our thoughts about them. Okay? They're all in line with self-compassion and deliberate action. Okay? So how do we cultivate wise intention? Wise again means to be effective, to be harmonious, to have the good of all. Goodwill for all includes oneself. So remember, I gave you the practice of kind, right? The acronym of kind. Kind was keep calm, breathe a few times, and settle down. And then you say, this is when you're criticizing, when you're not happy, when you're not compassionate. You say, I'm okay, it's okay, right? You remind yourself, I'm okay, it's okay. You Manijeh, I say to myself, it's okay that I messed up. And not identify with this thought, critical thought. You say, this is not me, I'm not this. For this, put it somewhere so you can practice all the time. And then these, for now, do whatever you were doing with more attentiveness, with more ease. Pay attention now. You messed up somewhere, you forgot something, you made the wrong turn somewhere, you broke something, whatever. You practice this. This is a goodwill practice for yourself. Practicing kind thoughts for yourself and others, especially when you're disappointed. Not harming. How do we practice that? Think about this thought. Is it harmful to you or others? So you have a thought, you have, especially we're talking about self-compassion. This is the context of this class. So you have these critical thoughts about yourself, right? It's not, oh, I'm a loser. Okay, so you ask yourself, is it harming to me Or is it lifting me up? Is it harming to other people when I feel that I'm a loser? Would that make my child or my spouse or my parents happy? Not really. It makes them unhappy. So it's harmful, right? You think about it and you play out the choice that you're gonna make, right? The choice is, yeah, what's the use? I'm not gonna go that route. I'll say no. I'm not gonna go to this party, or I'm not gonna go do this business or take this job, or I'm just not gonna do whatever because I feel like I'm a loser. So play this thought out in your mind. Is this harmful, this choice, to another person or to yourself? Yeah, actually, it's gonna make them more disappointed. Then what? If I don't do this, then I'm gonna enable myself or disable myself or whatever, just play it out and see what does it look like. If I procrastinate in this, if I never take care of it, I'm going to be disappointed at myself, or somebody else is going to be disappointed. Okay, I think I really don't want that. My intention is not harming. Okay, and then examine the result. When you've done the action, you've done the choice, you've done the action, think of it. Okay, how did it play out? Did it play out to be harmful or harmonious? And learn from it, right? And the next thing was generosity. How do we practice generosity? You let go of opinions, you see them for what they are. I have an amazing example. I was at this retreat, and oh, thank God for the teachings that come in these retreats. It's a silent retreat. Nobody's talking to nobody. We're doing, meditation, sitting meditation, walking, sitting, walking, and there are lectures in between. So the lecture in the morning was to, let go, because your mind proliferate. One of the ways that your mind proliferates so much is opinions. You have a lot of opinions about stuff. A lot of these things you think about are not really useful. They're just an opinion. So let go of the opinions, right? So I went for a walking meditation, and then I see this woman. We all have chores to do, like I think I had the chore of, I don't know, doing something, and everybody has one yogi job they give us. And so the yogi jobs are done at this retreat, were done during a specific time. Like this time, everybody go and do your yogi job. And I see this woman washing the towels in the kitchen towels. And so she's out of the time that we are supposed to be doing it. She's holding the basket, bringing it to the laundry room, washing them and putting them on the line and taking them down. And all day long she's doing this. So my mind is saying, she's not doing the retreat right. I'm walking, right? I'm doing my walking meditation. I'm thinking, I can't believe it. She's not doing this right. Why is she, Thank God for the teaching. And I realized, oh my God, I cannot be peaceful. This has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with my practice of me focusing on my feet and my time and my practice. I'm focusing on this other person, opinion. Okay, let it go. Opinion, let it go. So I let it go. And then I remember the next day, I saw her doing the same thing. My mind was going to say, have an opinion about it. And I thought, the opinion. And I started laughing. Like, oh my God, these things just come up. And I don't want my mind to proliferate. I don't want my mind to just keep thinking about this. It's not to my best interest. What do I care? That's their hair practice. So that was the second time. And then the third time I saw her, oh my God. I was inside the building and I was walking in the hallway. There was a window. I looked out and she was laying the towels on the line. Oh my God, my heart of gratitude opened for her, for what she was doing. I actually felt a smile come to my face and say, oh, thank you for doing that. you know, thank you for doing that. That was that. I feel like she is, this is a big job she's doing because whatever she's taking care of it, this is to my benefit. And so it transformed, right? From this, yeah, tight, opinionated, whatever, to this opening of the heart and gratitude and joy. My experience became joyful, you know? And then at the end of the retreat, I remember we were all, packing and going, and I saw her first time we could even talk to each other. We passed by each other. And I stopped and said, thank you so much for doing so much. You were on your retreat and you worked so hard. You know what she did? She teared up. She teared up. I don't know why. She became like somebody saw her. Somebody acknowledged that she was working too hard, you know? And that was just a beautiful connection, beautiful exchange that could have never happened had I kept on judging her, right? And just, oh my God, imagine that path and this path. So generosity is a big part of it is letting go of our opinions, right? So have a non-harming mind, intention in your mind. If I hang on to this judgmental thought, is it to my best interest? Is it to the best interest of others? And you let it go. You soften. You test it out too. The second part of this human software optimization model I have is like I give you the knowledge of, let's say, wise intention, generosity, letting go, put it to test and see how it works. Does it give you the result? Or can it give you the result if you keep, cultivating that? And every time that you let go of something, either material or time or help or support or opinion, you let go of something, learn from it, be with it and notice, how did it work out? Was it peaceful? Was it comfortable or uncomfortable, right? And so that's the end of this. I will send you the handout, the PDF of this. And we have 8 minutes to end the session. I really, really would love to hear a few comments about your experience with the course before you came, what you went through, and what you have learned or become aware of. It's kind of like we do this kind of like a council at the end, sitting around. Imagine we're all sitting around fire, sharing our wisdom with each other. And it doesn't have to be anything, profound or anything like that. But just voicing what you have experienced, I think would be very helpful to me and to the rest of you, because we're not going to see each other for a while. I also put a few links on the chat that you might want to open the link and then um, work on them later. But I'm going to be quiet and give you guys the floor.
Can I, does this work? Sorry, I'm actually driving to a concert right now, but I wanted to
Okay,
speak if
sure.
I can. So my name's Marissa, and I guess the class was really meaningful to me because I felt like it was just amazing to find a community of adults working through, like I felt less like I had like a disability, and it was just like, wow, I was in a group with like really interesting people that like wanted to improve their lives. And whenever I would tell like friends of mine who don't have ADHD like what I was learning in the class, they were like, oh my God, I want to do it too. And it was also a reminder that like we all struggle with similar things too, and can also like learn and grow from like the same information. So thank you.
You're welcome. That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, Vanessa.
I also found this class very helpful, and I appreciate all your teachings, and it's helped me to be more mindful, and also just recognizing I didn't know that being highly sensitive to criticism is a feature of ADHD, and so that's very helpful, and the building up of the self-love, and then hopefully from there self-esteem is an added bonus.
Yeah, thank you. I love that word feature. Well done. Yes, thank you. Yeah, just hop in. Don't think too much about it. No mind. Yes.
I will hop in very quick. I'll just pretty much reiterate the previous points. I mean, number one, having a community of other people here is just so like very um, comforting, I guess. So it's not like, oh, there's something wrong with me. This is like saying there's a lot of people like us out there, I guess. And just sort of becoming aware of our attention and focus and how that works and how we can kind of like, play around with that a little bit. And sort of dive into that area, I've found also very helpful. And yeah, it's always a pleasure to come to these. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Sharif. Yeah, thank you. You know, it's very motivating, heartwarming when we know that the work we do, the information we put out is helpful. Do you know how meaningful that could be for us? For me, it is very helpful to see that I have impacted one person and they could impact so many others. This is really why we do it, you know? Yeah. Yes.
Oh, oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Laura. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I was just gonna echo the community aspect of just like for myself, I came into this awareness so far into my adult life, and it still blows my mind how long we do what we do, and may have this propensity of suffering afoot, and to be able to actually kind of peel back the layers on it and actually have an opportunity to sit in a setting like this to hear these different ways that you've been able to break it down, and the kind component is something that's just so practical and accessible. And for me, more than anything, though, it's just this newness of being able to identify these different parts of myself that now kind of have I feel like there's more of a practical application to just the way I can mindfully move through my day. So I just thank you for holding that space for everyone.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for saying that. It means a lot. Thank you. Yeah. Claudia, you had a...
Yeah, the community aspect is phenomenal. I did enjoy, piggybacking off what everybody said. What I realized is like it was so practical and very understanding, where it takes away the stigma of what we thought it was, right? Where we're already punishing ourselves in so many ways, right? And just like, oh, I have this problem, right? But it's not. So you presented in a way that it's empowering, and it's so simple. Your brain was like your ego was unable to fight, right? It's just like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. I can do that. I can do the walking meditation. I can pay attention moments at a time and just figuring that out within yourself, right? Using these beautiful tools that you've given us. So it's the empowering part that I truly appreciated. So thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, that makes me so happy. Thank you. That it can go through and you can actually sit in your mind and heart and trust that this is a direction of, you can actually test it and do it. Yeah, thank you. Who hasn't said anything ever would like to? Or anybody else?
I'll just share that, I came into this as a therapist hoping to be able to help my clients. And I've, over the past few weeks, shared a number of things that we've talked about with some of my clients. And just to sort of give you an idea about the sort of ripple effect of teaching one person, I've had a number of clients be really intrigued by the possibility that this is an interest-based nervous system and an interest-based mind. And it's really opened up the doors of what we've been able to talk about for them. So that has been just really rewarding for me as a therapist to be able to find a way to feel like I could, help my clients better.
Thank you. That makes me so happy. Thank you. Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah. I'm actually developing a course for therapists, not necessarily about ADHD, but about optimizing their own being, their own software, their own template, their own way of life, which takes it much more beyond mindfulness, beyond stress reduction, beyond all that. And so that course is coming up soon. Actually, I'm doing one that could be useful for you guys. It's called, I'm doing a Strengths Finder 2.0 training, which is a high-level training I do for corporations, and I charge thousands of dollars. But this course is not that much at all, and I highly recommend it. Maybe I put that, it's under the auspices of, hold on, it's under the auspices of From Dharma to Life Intelligence. And if anybody was interested, the new series that I'm gonna do, hold on, the classes. The new series is going to have the Strengths Finder 2.0 training in it, which is good for everybody. And you don't have to really have any kind of, this is a more advanced class, but the topic I'm going to bring to it, you don't have to have advanced levels of anything. So yeah, oh my God, the therapist, thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate that. Yeah. What else?
I'll share.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely just reiterate what some people said of just, yeah, it just felt so nice. The community aspect and like the breakout rooms, that just, yeah, it just felt nice to feel normal in a way. Yeah. But also just like I really appreciated like kind of your example in a way, just like I just felt very seen, and just a lot of compassion and a lot of acceptance. Like your self-acceptance felt like a possibility for me. So it's just very inspiring. Yeah.
Good, good, good. Yes, yes, it's possible. Yes, 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 yes. So we're going to be off for the summer from UCLA aspect of offering this. And we'll come back in fall for the ADHD class. So please make sure you continue because there's so much more to it. And next time, I think I'd like to focus on breaking down focus. There are 6 aspects of focus where you can develop. So during the summer, take this handout, listen to back to this core, this today's topic and all of it, and try to develop these things that you've already been given, right? And so that you have something that is actually tangible, doable, something that makes sense to you, practices. And I rarely ever said anything about mindfulness, didn't I? I didn't ever use that word, but these are all mindfulness practices for your brain type. Okay. And so and again, to subscribe to my newsletter if you like, and so you could stay in touch and hear that. One of the most important thing for myself has been getting consistent teachings from the source that I trust, not from all over, from the sources that I really know that, yeah, that works for me. This other thing doesn't work for me, even though it's really wise, even though it's really amazing. I'm not discounting their value, but it doesn't work for me. So if my language works for you, stay somehow in touch with my offerings, right? Use my YouTube channel. Go there, listen, hear, because I speak your language. You get it. I get you. And now I've become able to also articulate things in a way neurotypical can get it too. Right. And so yeah, just stay in touch and write to me if you want to, talk to me. Always write to me. And we have a connection hour that's coming up. I believe is on June 20th, Monday morning. I put the link in the chat. Please come to that. It's free event. It's a global thing for developing, nurturing compassion and wisdom. And this time we're going to be talking about, I believe, navigating change and uncertainty. That's going to be the topic of it, which I will, cover change. And there is another speaker, Randy Schultz. He's going to talk about uncertainty and how he goes about. And yeah, how and I believe his way of thinking will suit your brain type. Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, let's take a deep breath. Bring love to yourself and continue having conversations with yourself. I got you. I'm here for you. I love you. Don't forget, it is very, very important to do that. Okay. Thank you. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be with you. And I love you, each and every one of you. Okay.
Gratitude. I love you, beautiful. Have a good one.
Okay, sweetheart.
Thank
Sweet,
you.
sweet,
Good night.
sweet.
Thank you, Manijeh.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Thank you, Manijeh.
You're welcome.